These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
But anyways, bringing it back to the current version of the Celtics where defense has started to pick up again. There is one person I would like to give a ton of credit to, and I'm currently writing about it. You should see it on Celtics blog either tomorrow, as in New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. Derrick White, and I'm going to say this with confidence. I'm going to write down when I start this conversation so we can make it a video. Derrick White has been one of the best defensive players in the league this year. He is absolutely an all defensive guard this season. I won't hear anything else about it. He has been phenomenal. And you had a lot of skeptics when the trade went down last year, you being one of them, in not crapping on you, but as an example, you were
It was
not
less about
as
him
high
and
on
more
the trade.
about Richardson. I was not one of the they gave up a pick people. I was like, this guy Richardson rules, man. You can't be giving him up. And I still like Richardson. It's a shame that he can't be part of this fun they're having here in Celtic land because he was a good player, quality,
I agree.
Good defender. He was a good shooter last year. I don't know what the rules are about bringing him back. I know
he could come back, but they don't have
TPEs.
money. Yeah, that's the issue.
That's what sucks. He rules though.
Yes, I agree. But as I was saying, with the dog barking in the background currently, it's okay. Derrick White's defense has been amazing this year. And I was, you're going to make fun of me. I asked Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown, and I was like talking about it to get quotes for the article. And the way I phrased it was Marcus Smart gets a lot of the credit because he's defensive player of the year. He's known for that sort of play. Derrick White is doing the exact same thing. He has been the best, it's crazy because he's playing. I phrased it this way in my article, which you'll see. He is playing on a team with like defensive giants, as in Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum's having a great defensive season. Robert Williams will always be in the highlight reel. I would argue Derrick White may just be the best defender on the Celtics this year. In terms of the season he's putting together, the way he's guarding players on the perimeter, he's averaging almost a block a night as a 6'5" scrawny-ish guard.
Right.
Like he's second in the league among guards and blocks. He's 30 this year in 33, 34, 35 games. Only Shea is averaging more blocks than him. I'm going to find the stat here so we can pick on somebody I know you enjoy picking on. But as I said, Derrick White has 30 blocks on the season. Let's take a look at this right here. Let's see, where does my man rank? I'm just going to double check that stat. Yep, 30 blocks. Mr. Rudy Gobert is at 38. Rudy Gobert has 8 more blocks this season than Derrick White.
I'll tell you what,
right?
last year people were complaining about the first round pick they gave up for Derrick White. How about giving up 5 for Gobert? And that's all he knows how to do, and he's not doing it that well.
Derrick White has as many blocks as Jason Tatum, as many blocks as Al Horford, as many blocks as Jakob Poeltl, more blocks than Draymond Green, more blocks than Naz Reid, Mason Plumlee. Like, he is a 6'5" guard. He's put up 30 blocks this season, 29 steals, playing elite perimeter defense. He's second on the Celtics in plus minus. Behind Jason Tatum, he is second on the team in plus minus. That means the team is that much better on him in the court. His shooting went in a slump in December, and his minutes didn't go down at all because that's how good he's been on defense. Like, and not this is without even talking about that Clippers game in particular. Like, that was his, coming out story for defense. Like, everyone now should realize how good he's been playing this year because he's been doing that all season. But like that block on John Wall where he blocked the shot, came down with the ball, and then threw it off John Wall's body on the ground. Crazy. That block on Paul George late in the game, that was a Robert Williams play. We saw Derrick White do what Robert Williams does. He came over from the weak side. He helped on Paul George. Jason Tatum couldn't get the block, so Derrick White did. That is what Robert Williams did all of last season for the Celtics. He played weak side, he played free safety, and he got blocks. Derrick White did that. And he did that against Paul George in a late game situation when the Celtics needed to stop. Like, words cannot describe how great Derrick White has been on defense this season. I'm going to attempt to do that in an article, so maybe I shouldn't say words can't describe it. But like, I have been beyond impressed with Derrick White, and he deserves all the love for all defense this season.
Yeah, Derrick White's been great. I will say this, in that Clippers game, he did get picked on a bit. He's not perfect.
Well, I was targeting him.
Yeah, the only problem with Derrick White is he can't guard the bigger guys as well as like a Marcus Smart. Not that that's a problem, but the thing that separates the two players, I guess, if you want to go that way, is he's not a guard 1 through 5 guy, which you don't have to be a great defender. That's not a prerequisite. That's not a required aspect of your game. But during that Clippers game, when they were coming back in the third quarter, You saw them run pick and rolls or picks at the top of the top of the key to target Derrick White. Now, it is Kawhi Leonard, right? He's a superstar. It's not like he's getting cooked by me and the boys. He's not.
And I will point out as well, it's not like Derrick White was just getting they're making tough shots. Like Derrick White was still playing solid enough defense, but like you said, he is shorter, he is smaller, so there's only so much he can do in those
He's
spots.
playing solid defense, but Kawhi in particular was getting to the spot he wanted to and getting the shot he wanted to. Which, what are you going to do? It's Kawhi. He's not some bum. He's a great player. He's a former Finals MVP twice. He's led 2 different teams to championships. He's no slouch. He's probably going to be definitely a Hall of Famer. There's no shame in that guy going to work on you. And it doesn't mean Derrick White's a bad defender, but to be devil's advocate, that's what I'll say is he's not guarding the bigger guys as well as a Marcus Smart. So maybe he's not the best defender on the team, but he does a damn good job at doing what he's asked to do, guarding the perimeter, staying with guys. And like you said, the off the ball plays are huge. Those 2 blocks yesterday were super exciting, and they were big plays at those times in the game, especially at the end. That was huge. The Celtics were kind of fumbling there. They were trying to milk the clock too soon, and they fell flat on the offensive end. They needed that. They needed that to ice the game, and they got it from him. So good for Derrick White. And not only on the defensive end, Derrick White is starting to come back around on the offensive end.
Yes.
He had a solid game yesterday against the Clippers. He's been solid ever since he got his haircut, which people on Twitter, I believe Forsberg is the one leading the charge on that. I could be wrong. I want to give him the credit. But it's true. It's good to see him being aggressive. He's not only shooting threes. He's had some good moves to get to the basket. He had a big and one over Kawhi late in that game to put the Celtics up 8.
Yeah.
He's coming around as a whole, not just on the defensive end. And when they're getting production offensively from Derrick White, not that he's a bad player, but when you're able to rely on that, that makes things so much easier for a guy like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, even Marcus Smart, where he doesn't have to do all this creation. He can give it to Derrick White, and it just makes that guard rotation so much deeper. Because there have been people in our chat calling for a Derrick White trade or a Marcus Smart trade.
Yeah.
But they're valuable. Just because Brogdon is maybe a bigger name than the 2 of them, or in the past has been a more highlight-driven player, I guess, or able to score more exciting, whatever you want to call it. People see the scoring and they get excited, but the other 2 guys are really excellent all around. You can't afford to lose that. And having all 3 of them is such a blessing that you shouldn't take for granted.
Absolutely. And excuse me, my thing is, we've had a guy, Jimmy J. I mean, I'll say he's in the comments of our articles.
Very loyal listener.
He is. I respect. I'm not going to go at him. I'm saying he is pushing the agenda that Malcolm Brogdon is better than Marcus Smart, that he's better than Derrick White, saying that he should be getting more minutes. I think Malcolm Brogdon has put together a great season for the Celtics. Excuse me. I also think, like you're talking about, I think Malcolm Brogdon gets the benefit of the doubt because he's had the chance to be the 1A or 1B on a team, right? In those Pacers years, he was the top guy and he was putting up 20 in 10 almost, right? And he's a good player. He's a great player. However, I don't think he's had as good of a season as Marcus Smart and Derrick White. Not saying Malcolm Brogdon hasn't had a great season. He's 3rd on the team in scoring. He's averaging 13, 4, and 4. Those
He's
are
also
phenomenal
adjusting
numbers
to a
for
new
playoff
role.
team. Exactly, he's adjusting. And this isn't me even saying he's playing bad. I just think the fact that he's had those spots in the past as a scorer and he's had those, chances are bleeding into this season, right? Like he's averaging, like I said, 13, 4, and 4 this year. But he's playing less minutes. He's only playing 23.5 minutes a night. Marcus Smart's getting 33. Derrick White is getting 26. Marcus Smart and Derrick White, I would say, pretty clearly are better defenders, right? Malcolm Brogdon's not a bad defender by any means, but I would take Marcus Smart and Derrick White in a heartbeat over Malcolm Brogdon on that side of the floor. Malcolm Brogdon has also, and you can look at the raw turnover numbers and say, okay, well, Marcus Smart's averaging more turnovers. If you watch the games and you account for the minutes, I would say he's also been more loose with the ball than Smart and White. Have you seen that as well, Malcolm Brogdon, with the turnovers this season?
It feels like that, especially when they were playing poorly and they were dropping those games mid-month. It felt like you weren't getting a lot from Brogdon. You weren't able to rely on him, and he was a little bit sloppy. Now, to circle back to the positive, though,
Yes,
Marcus Smart has been absolutely excellent over the last
yes.
since he came back. He was sick last Wednesday against the Pacers, came back for the Timberwolves game, played then up until now. Again, excellent showing from him against the Clippers. What do you have, 18 and 9 with 1 turnover, maybe, if that?
Against the Clippers? Let me take.
Yeah, and he was throwing some crazy passes around. There's one in particular that stood out to me. He threw a bounce pass 2 passes away to Tatum, who was running the floor on the opposite side, and he got a layup out of it. That's a crazy pass. A cross-court bounce pass? How often do you see that?
17 points, 3 rebounds, and 9 assists, 2 steals.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
3 turnovers.
And he had a
which,
big
again,
steal.
not great, but yes. Yes, it was a strip steal on Kawhi at the top of the key, right? Is that the one you're talking about? Or are you talking about the other one?
Yeah, it was in the fourth quarter. He got 2 points out of it. Just
Huge.
a great showing from him over the last week.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. And I didn't mean to like pick on Malcolm Brogdon because Malcolm Brogdon is bringing exactly what the Celtics need from him. He is a great scorer off the bench. He's a great facilitator. He's a great ball handler. I'm just saying the Celtics should be grateful that they have all 3 guys. We shouldn't be trying to split them up, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to show appreciation to Derrick White and Marcus Smart because for a lot of Celtics fans, they're flying more under the radar because they're so impressed with Malcolm Brogdon scoring, etc.
Dude, people just get bored. They were trying to break up the Jays for years. Now they're trying to break up this 3-guard rotation they've got. Sure. Do you have an overflow of talent there? Yeah.
They're 2, 3, and 4. Excuse me, 3, 4, and 5 on the Celtics in scoring. Right? It's disheartening to see fans try to like break it up and pick on one. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah.
They get bored. They want something new. They want to play 2K.
That's a good way to describe it.
Well, I probably got crap. You didn't get crap for the short where I said I'd take Smart over some stars in the league.
You'd be surprised. Some people actually agreed with you. There were some people in the TikTok comments saying, it makes sense. Smart's the better fit for the team. You don't want to take touches away from the Jays.
It's not 2K.
Absolutely.
I was talking to a couple of buddies of mine, and while Luka, I don't know with the amount of time he has the ball, how great of a fit he would be. Curry is a guy I do think would fit just because, again, we saw when KD went to the Warriors, he was able to take a step back and fill a role that wasn't as substantial and still be effective. But I think if you bring in another star to fit alongside Tatum and Brown, it's going to hurt Jaylen Brown because he's going to see less opportunities. He's going to have to press more, and you really don't need that. He seems really comfortable right now. He's been on an absolute tear ever since the fourth quarter of that Timberwolves game. And you shouldn't want to screw with it. You really shouldn't want to screw with this team at all. The only thing you should be interested in is maybe bringing another wing off the bench. And even then, I'm not convinced that's completely necessary either, because to do so, you might have to give up Pritchard. And do you really want to do that in case somebody else gets hurt in that guard rotation? People forget Pritchard was really good in the playoff run last year.
Yeah.
He was big in game 1 against the Warriors when they came back in the fourth quarter. He was a spark there. He was a spark in game 2 over the Nets. When they came back, he had 10 fourth quarter points in that game. He had a good game 1 against Miami. He kept it close. I mean, he has had some great moments in the playoffs, and his shooting has been down this year. But I think that's just because he hasn't gotten out there consistently.
He can't get in a
rhythm. Play as well.
That's not fair. He can't get in a rhythm. There's not much. Excuse me. You can ask for from Pritchard when he's not getting those chances. Back to Marcus Smart just for one more quick point. He was asked about it after the Clippers game. He's been guarding centers. He's been like he guarded Alperen Sengun. He guarded Brook Lopez on Christmas. He guarded Zubac. He had a great block on Zubac. He was bullying Zubac in the first couple quarters of that Celtics game. Like having that sort of versatility at the guard position with Smart and Derrick White, obviously on defense, I'm talking, is unlike anything a lot of teams have in the league. Like I can't think of another team with 2 guards that are so versatile on defense. And even Derrick White, who you're talking about, like he's getting bullied a little bit, like those blocks, like you're not seeing guards don't do that. That's not something point guards, shooting guards do in the NBA. And I saw you thinking of, potential teams that you can compare it to. Drew Holiday is the first name that comes to mind, but like
who else?
We're talking about Drew Holiday and Grayson Allen, which realistically just doesn't compare. So, and like if you look around the league, like I'll pull up the NBA standings, you're looking for a defensive guard pairing as good as the Celtics. You don't see it. Like the Sixers, no. I'm just looking down the list. The Heat, maybe, but Tyler Hero kind of ruins that for you. If you're talking Jimmy and Lowry, maybe if you want to move Jimmy to the 2. I guess Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent.
No,
like not
no.
Right. Like I'm struggling to find people. I'll go, excuse me, to the Western Conference. No. Pelicans, no. Grizzlies, John Morant, Desmond Bane, no, not really. Clippers, not really. Paul George, Reggie Jackson, that kind of does it. Chris Paul is solid. Devin Booker's okay, but there's just no one around the league that's really holding a candle to what Marcus Smart and Derrick White can bring on defense as a pairing. I'm talking about. So I think they deserve a ton of credit for how they played this season. I think Malcolm Brogdon deserves a ton of credit for stepping back into the 6-man role after starting for years. The Celtics guard rotation is truly a 3-headed monster. Like it's great. They're 3, 4, and 5, like I said, on the team in scoring behind Tatum and Brown, all averaging 10 points plus. And even with his 3-point shooting slump in December, Derrick White's still shooting a career best, like almost 38% from 3. So, like, just phenomenal season from those 3.
I'll tell you what, looking back on how you got here with your guard rotation, the pieces they give up are playing well. Good for them. Doesn't mean you should be angry, Twitter. You shouldn't be angry that Nesmith had a good game or Langford had a good game, which they both did yesterday in wins over Eastern Conference teams.
Love that. Need it.
But good for them. Those guys weren't going to develop as Celtics as much as you might hate seeing them playing well in other uniforms.
I don't hate it.
Do you hate it? They're getting the not you in general.
I know. No, I'm asking you though. Do you hate it or nah?
No. I am number one. Like it wasn't going to happen here. It's the butterfly effect. If they stay here, they're not going to get the opportunity. They're not.
Absolutely.
I don't know how you can expect anybody to develop as a deep rotation player like that. It's just not going to happen. Just go back to Peyton Pritchard. Peyton Pritchard has been good here because he's gotten run. Now that they have people in front of him, he's not as consistent. His shooting numbers are down this year. Look at Nesmith and Langford. Look who they're playing behind when they're on the Celtics. Tatum and Brown, which one of them is going to be in the game at almost all times. You're not going to get any kind of consistent minutes there, and you're not going to have a chance to develop. And when you are out there, you don't have any room for error. Of course you're going to play poorly. As a guy that's not consistently getting run, you have to go out there and press? No way. So good for them. Good that Nesmith is playing well for the Pacers. Good that Langford's helping the Spurs tank. I mean, what else can you want? Everything's coming up Ainge.
Yeah.
If you really want to be happy for someone, be happy for Ainge. He hit on like all his recent draft picks with the Celtics. And he got a haul for Rudy Gobert, who's a 7-foot fry cook. And, you know, he's doing well over there in Utah. The team's winning, and he doesn't even want him to.
That's rude. 7-foot.
Well, French.
That's foul.
Tic-tac-toe.